host, Nick Stewart, and my co-host is KB. KB, you doing all right today?
Hey, I got my tracksuit on. I'm ready to run more than you know today. I'm ready to run this show, and I'm ready to run my mouth today as we get into some wrestling talk.
Before you start running your mouth, I'm gonna run my mouth today. I just got a bone to pick with AEW. I want to like it. I want to enjoy it. On a Wednesday night, there's not too much else to do. And sometimes a Saturday night, I wouldn't mind throwing it on Collision and watching it and enjoying myself. And what I saw Wednesday night was complete garbage. They might have had 2 or 3 things on the whole show, total of 5 minutes out of 2 hours, that was decent. But the first thing is Speedball. I ain't gonna say what me and the Nature Boy was calling him, because this is a family-friendly show. But you know, hey, I'm pretty sure he's a good wrestler. First time I ever seen him, because I never watched Japan wrestling, and I didn't watch him when he was at TNA. But to me, he looked like Mortal Kombat on a video game. But just I don't know, it just irritated me watching him just do those kicks and all that. And the guy he was fighting, it was the guy with the big goat head, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the dumbest outfit. I don't care. At least step your game. I know you spent a bunch of money on that stupid goat head, but dadgum, make something. How do you wrestle with a goat head on your head? That's the dumbest. Luchasaurus, me and my wife, we were like, how's he able to see with that mask? But at least you can see his mouth, a little bit. This guy had a complete goat mask on, a goat or whatever it is. I mean, it's just not resonating with me. I might be the only dummy in America, I don't know. But just a guy with a full goat mask is just stupid. Stupid. Tony Khan, for a billionaire, come on. Come up with something a little better than that. Now, I did like Timeless Tony. I got a bunch of other stuff that I got to fuss about, but I did like Timeless Tony. I like MJF and MVP.
Nick, here's what you got to do. Wait a minute, player. Wait a minute, player. As Teddy Long would say, wait a minute, player. I'm fixing to put you in on the game. To me, that was a great AEW. The promos that they're leading up to the next pay-per-view, I felt like that this was a great segment. I know y'all were talking about Speedball and all this stuff, but I'm here to tell you, that was a pretty good, coming out of a pay-per-view, that storylines made a whole lot more sense. Now, I think they're hurting on luchadors right now, especially with Penta and, Phoenix Jr. Leaving. I think that kind of hurt their, that's why they don't have those luchadors. I think that's why you saw, Big Boy, Brian Cage, wrestle with that guy.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was a dumb.
Yeah.
Why? No, let me go off on him here. Why are you booking Brian Cage with a luchador when he has a 7-foot giant that he tag teams with, but he's tagging with a luchador?
I think.
Aren't they supposed to be trying to build Brian Cage and what's the other guy's name?
You're talking about Will Hobbs. No, Big Cass.
No, the guy tagging with Brian Cage.
You're talking about the Murder Hawk.
Yes, the Murder Hawk. They're not. They're supposed to be trying to push them right now, and they have Brian Cage tagging with a luchador. Yeah, That's stupid. I don't care who you are. Tony Khan, that was the dumbest, stupidest booking. Guess what? That's not going to the next pay-per-view. That was a waste of my time. All right, you go ahead.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You're looking at it from a lens of WWE. You're looking at it from a lens of, the high big arch and stuff like that. You're not looking at it from a perspective of AEW and the quality they produces. Everything that they did to me was fire. Hangman Adam Page, MJF, you name it. Now, I will say this now. The main event, it did suck. It did suck. Big time. And I'll say that's on Tony Khan. But to me, the rest of it, it made sense, especially Timeless Tony. She is killing it right now. The whole, Swerve Strickland, what he's becoming, his old school persona is coming back. So to me, it was more about building storylines. And I'm for one, you always talk about the storylines don't make sense. To me, they were establishing storylines and it made sense. And that's what made the pay-per-view, to me, that's what made that. Some of the wrestling matches, granted, it is what it is. But for the most part, AEW did a great job in production-wise of telling stories. And I always hear you talk about that, Nick, how they need to get better at storytelling. And they told better stories on Monday. So you may not like the wrestlers, you may not like the matches, but you can't have it all, baby. You can't have it all.
It's like, for one thing, like I said, they used 5 to 10 minutes of storytelling with Timeless Tony, 30 seconds with Swerve Strickland, 5 minutes with MJF, MVP, which I do like that. Hold on, I do like that. So we got, 15 minutes total of storytelling? And the rest of it was complete garbage. Take it out to the trash can, complete garbage. Because Orange Cassidy and whoever the heck he was fighting, so they just pulled some guy off the street. Like, that guy had a guy in the crowd. Can you fit into this outfit here? Yeah, well, you go out there and find Orange Cassidy. That's what they did on the main event.
No, I don't think that was the main event. But I mean, Nick.
Okay, hold on. I haven't finished yet. But you said I'm looking at it through WWE eyes. Should be somebody AEW is trying to get to watch their show. And they're just not doing it. I'm going to watch it because I'm hoping they can bring me back into it. But after Wednesday night, it was like, I don't even know if I need to waste my time on Wednesdays. But I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there Wednesday to watch it. But they need to be trying to get customers like me to watch their show.
Listen, they're doing, to me, that was one of the best production-wise as far as storylines telling. Again, I'm not talking about the wrestling per se. I'm talking about the storylines that are moving to the next pay-per-view that we're talking about.
Oh, hold on. I do have one thing about Timeless Tony. One thing about Timeless Tony's storyline. I really like that Bane girl. What's her full name? Last name's Bane.
Yeah, I can't remember, but I know who you're talking about.
But I'm really liking her. But she's only been there for like 3 matches, and they already got her going for the women's AEW title, probably.
Well, now, I will say that was a problem with the storyline too, Nick. Okay, I will give you that. Because it didn't make any sense, not just for that, but if you notice, she came out during Timeless Tony Storm's match, and then she came out at the, at the other women's match. And I'm like, hold up, this don't make any sense right here as far as the storyline. I'd rather her, come and claim, like, you're going to shoot your shot, right? And if you're trying to make a name for yourself, you're going to come out there and do exactly what I get that. But what I didn't understand was when she came back out, the second time and showed her dominance. You're trying too hard with this girl. She's the latest flashy thing. I think you utilize her in 1 or 2 segments. Don't utilize her on both segments. But overall, the storyline with Swerve, the storyline with MJF and where that faction goes. He could join the Hurt Business. Because let's face it, the Hurt Business, I love their new gimmick. We hurt people. We hurt people. We hurt people. Come on, man. That's great. And that's
the main reason. That's the main reason I'm going to be watching Wednesday. Just see where that goes.
I'm telling you, it is. Again, I feel like Tony needs to do a better job of fitting wrestlers together. I hear what you're saying as far as the wrestling. I get it. But as far as the storyline, that's what I was looking at. Are you producing, because if you just put people together and it was great matches, well, where does that go from here? At least they got the storylines correct this time. At least they came out of a pay-per-view. Usually they don't come out of a pay-per-view pretty strong. If you go back and watch AEW's past, Wednesday after a pay-per-view, it's normally, but this made, as far as moving the storylines along, which you talk about, they need to do, but they've done a good job. But let's not get started on WWE and how SmackDown sucks. SmackDown is terrible lately. And you want to talk about storylines, their storylines ain't no better than doggone AEW on Wednesday night, and it certainly ain't better than Collusion on Saturday night. So, I don't know who's writing those storylines for SmackDown, but they're terrible. I'm kind of excited that you're going to have Roman, that you're going to have Punk, and you're going to have Seth, at least, they're for a 3-hour show. Maybe they'll talk for 30 minutes, but don't get me started on how long they talk, Nick. Over there, they'll talk for a whole hour over there at WWE, just running their mouth and forgetting their lines. Hold on, let me write it down like The Rock did back in the day on the palm of my hand.
One more thing about AEW. Quit doing tournaments for everything. You don't get storylines out of the tournaments. Just, it's like there's a tournament every week. So let's have a 8-man tournament to see who's going to be the number 2 contender to the TNT title.
All right.
So that's my last thing about AEW.
All right. Let's talk about WWE tournaments.
Yeah.
How many tournaments they constantly having too? They're constantly having Andre the Giant Battle Royal, which is fixing to come up again. We have, the Intercontinental Tournament, the Tag Team Tournament. We had the, U.S. title tournament. I mean, every time you turn around, they got tournaments too. Now, I get what you're saying as far as, they do need it. AEW is tournament heavy. I get it. Yeah. But I think that even WWE falls susceptible to too many tournaments. I agree with you. Let's get rid of so many tournaments. All this stuff, and I mean, if you're wrestling being the number 1 contender, fine. But come on, man. We ain't got to have all these other tournaments.
Now, WWE, I ain't been a homer for them. I ain't on the payroll. But they do add storylines into the tournament. AEW, they don't add any type of storylines into theirs. There's like, this is just going to be a fight, I enjoy watching the fight, but still, it'd be nice to have a storyline to go with it. But, yes, I do agree with you. It's too many tournaments. The Andre the Giant Battle Royal is not a tournament. It's just a bunch of guys that can't make WrestleMania that they throw into a ring and let them battle it out, But,
well, it is a tournament because then you got bragging rights, and then you're talking about he's the next man up. Usually, they give whoever wins it usually gets a push. So there are some ramifications.
Yeah, a little push.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Madcap Moss's push. That was my man there, Madcap Moss. He reminded me of a good '80s WWE wrestler. But, I was going to go off on WWE. 2 things. I'm tired of 3-hour SmackDown. I can't wait to June to get here where they go back to 2 hours. 3 hours is too long for a Friday night. Yes, get rid of it. Too much filler. I don't care about watching the videos of what happened 2 weeks ago on SmackDown or what happened on Raw. I done watched it. Then the Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair fiasco. I see why they're doing it. They're trying to build up their match at WrestleMania. But Tiffany jumping off doing that 560 flippity flip thing off was it Titantron, whatever it was. She landed 10 feet from Charlotte Flair, and all the security guards just fall out, and Charlotte falls too, and then nobody even laid a hand on her, and she's acting like she's knocked out. They got to stop doing that garbage. It looks fake. It is fake. Stop doing it.
Well, that's Tiffy time inexperience, yeah. Nick. That's what it is.
Oh,
it all boils down to, she ain't been in the ring as long as Charlotte has. She'll clean that up eventually, but it's going to take her some time. Again, this is why.
Well, it's like all the suicide dives. I'm just tired of them now.
The suicidas.
Yes.
The suicide dives.
Jay.
The suicidas.
Let's talk about this later on, but Jay, you see that suicide dive he did yesterday?
Oh, it almost cost him.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, he got real lucky, but it's like every match has one of those suicide dives. It's supposed to be talking about Dragon Lee later on. I thought he was hurt. Did you see that belly-to-belly suplex Gable put on him?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
he was dropping on his neck. I mean, that was like Big E almost. And they're going to have to, I'm against the power drivers, and especially in AEW. I like watching them, but it scares the heck out of me every time I watch one. But the suplexes, they're almost in the same level. It's going to take somebody, somebody really getting hurt, I guess. I figure Big E getting hurt, they might do a little more caution with it, but it's clearly not, But just pray that nobody gets hurt on one of those suplexes. But that was my main thing with WWE. It's 3 hours is way too long, and I did not like the Tiffany Charlotte thing. It just looked really fake to me. You got anything to add to it?
Yeah, I just think, like you said, I think they're, they've got to clean that up. You know what I mean? I think they got to just figure things out. They got to figure out how to do it, the best they can. And they got to cut down because they don't have the star power on SmackDown, Nick. They don't have the star power.
No. All right, before we go to the next thing, if y'all can hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. The notification bell lets you know that these two idiots are about to be on the YouTube. So if you hit it, you can at least get a good laugh for the day. And
that's right.
You can look at a good-looking fella like myself and say, Lord, how did that fella get so good-looking? But if you don't mind, just hit that subscribe button for us.
You're always talking about how good you look and how ugly I look and stuff like that. But I make you look good, Nick. That's the bottom line because KB said so.
That's right. Because somebody as ugly as you are, anybody can be right next to them and look good. All right. Let's see here. Oh, Ludwig and Penta's match. That was a heck of a match yesterday. What did you think of it?
Yeah, I thought it was a great match. I thought Penta, again, Penta moved the needle, more to go after the U.S. Heavyweight, or Intercontinental Championship, not the U.S. Heavyweight Champion, but the Intercontinental Championship, and I think that put him a, good showing. I feel like that feud is not over yet, Nick. I feel like they'll continue on, and it's just going to be one of those things. So to me, it was a great match. Those guys put on a show, and kudos to them. I'm actually surprised being in Germany that they didn't cheer for Kaiser more. That they didn't cheer for the ring general more. You know, I mean, what's up with that? I mean, he cheered for Cody more than they did, come on. Right. Maybe John Cena's right about that fickle crowd. And we'll get to that in a little bit.
Right. I got one more thing to say about Ludwig. I hope they start pushing him. I really like his work. I would like to see him become like a very sadistic heel, kind of like the Randy Orton when he was punting people in the head, the Viper, the Legend Killer. I would love to see Ludwig kind of take a personality a little bit, kind of like that,
Yeah, I mean, and he needs to. I mean, to me, do kind of what Gunther done. He's elevated his character where you don't care. You claim to be the best of the best, and I mean, Kaiser can get there, man. He's just got to turn that. All it's gonna take is one little tweak, man, to get his character over, and then So we'll see. We'll see.
Which I think he's getting over.
Yeah, I mean,
if they're booing him, he's getting over,
Well, he's just got to keep on, and again, he's got to be careful, Nick. Here's what Kaiser's got to be careful of, all right? He's got to be careful not to be in the shadows of Tiff. Because, they're dating, but he don't need to be known as, I'm Tiffany's boyfriend. Right. He needs to be known as his own, I mean, are you Ludwig or are you Tiffany's boyfriend? What are you? Are you a piece of trash or what are you, son? Come on, tell us what you are. Show us what you are. Show us what you're made of, son. I want to know what you're made of. Show me. Convince me that you're the best in the world. Now, that was a promo right there.
That was. I was very inspired. I would like to see him. I would like to see them, let him wrestle a couple of jobbers, squash matches, and let them just kick on. I mean, do something where they're like, these people won't ever wrestle again, they're going to be going to the hospital for a month, just to make that character very sadistic. And that's what I want to see. Maybe they'll do it, maybe they won't. If Triple H, if you're watching, hey, you can send me the check in the mail if, the much money as he'll be making here shortly if you do it.
That's right.
Oh, all right. And then Penta and Braun Breaker, I can't wait to see that match. I think that's going to be one heck of a WrestleMania match. I think it's going to be a WrestleMania. But I figure probably Penta would go over on that. But that's me personally. I like Braun. I know you don't like him that much, but I like Braun. And I really like Penta, so I'm looking forward to that match.
I think Braun would be better with a manager. I just think that he's not. He's a great performer in ring, but as far as his mic skills, it's kind of like Goldberg. Right. I mean, it's like Goldberg 2.0. I've seen that done. That I don't want to see. I want to see something again. I want to see what you're made of, boy. I want to see who you are. I don't want to know who your daddy is. I want you to become a dominant force. I don't want you to ride the coattails of your dad and you go, oh. No, come up with your own stuff, man. Be yourself. And I know you're going to get that, and I think he's a great wrestler, but I think he needs somebody on the mic that can come and help him, somebody like the Wise Man or somebody that can come and, just make him seem like he's just unstoppable. That's what they did with Roman, right? I mean, Roman Roman was decent on the mic, but then once he got the Wise Man, he became untouchable. He wrote his own story, and that's what Braun needs to do. He needs to figure that out. Now, I mean, if the Wise Man wants to jump ship, that's who he needs to jump ship with.
No, he needs to jump ship to Logan Paul.
Yeah, or somebody like that even.
But no, here's an idea. Somebody that would be great with Braun Breaker. That's the Miz.
Yeah.
Because honestly, Miz, he might wrestle once every 6 weeks, and
You know what?
but he's golden on the mic.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea actually.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
That's a great idea.
and that would take Braun to the next level and keep Miz, keep Miz up there, because Miz he can do it all. He's one of my favorites, so I would like to see that. But what we came on this show to talk about today was that fire. I'm saying fire. I don't know about you, but that promo John Cena had, that was fire. I enjoyed it, and I don't have anything bad to say about it. So
Listen,
if you got something bad to say about it, say it.
This right here, let me tell you, fantastic.
Yeah.
This is the John Cena that we wanted to see for years, right?
Yes.
This is John Cena saying, I'm tired of you putting labels on me. I'm tired of, you telling me that I suck, or you're the one that made me this way. You're the one that created this, and I'm tired of it. And man, that was, even going to the kid, and saying how toxic even that little kid was like, that's classic old school. I thought the boy was going to cry, right? And, but, that right there was a promo. Now, on the flip side, I love what Cody said. When he said this line right here, he said this. He said, I wanted John Cena, but instead I got this. I was like, wow. Now that to me was like a shockwave, and I went back. Normally I don't go back and watch shows, Nick.
Yeah.
But I went back and watched that just to see if it was just as good. And it was just, to me, it was better the second time around than it was the first time.
Right.
So many little nuggets, so many little truths, but that, to me, that was Cody's best version, I want, what happened to the guy on the shirt?
Yeah.
Instead, I wanted John Cena at WrestleMania, but instead I get this guy. Oh, what a promo. And then what I love about John, no emotion at the end. It's almost like, I don't care. Right. I've done what I need to do. Almost like if he sold his soul, that's what he's playing the part. Like, my soul's gone. I'm left. All's left is a shell of a person, right?
Yep.
Because I don't care. Because that's what he kept on saying. I don't care about you guys. I don't care about if you buy my. I'm not. And what? Oh, another good line that Cena said. I'm not a heel, nor am I a good guy. A baby face. That to me was fire.
Yeah.
Because again, it all went back. It tied into let's go Cena. Cena sucks. He was saying I'm not either, guys. I'm John flipping Cena. And I was like, let's go. This is incredible. That to me was one of the best promos in professional wrestling that we'll be talking about for years.
Yes, I agree 110%. I hate to agree with you, but yes. I loved how if Cody wouldn't have came out there when he did, heck, John Cena had everybody feeling sorry for him. That's how good a promo that was. Everybody's like, oh, it was our fault, but the heat that he got, I loved it. That's a good babyface heel segment there. Cody being the babyface, John Cena being the evil heel, and I enjoyed it, and that's what makes you come back to wrestle. Makes you come back next week. Keep coming back for it. So just get stuff like that every once in a while.
Yeah, well, I will say, even too, with Seth cutting a great promo as well. Seth Rollins cut a great promo, and for him to say, I'm going over there to SmackDown. They're going to be there. Hey, I'm just going to show up in Italy and see what happens. To me, that right there was a great promo. It got you interested in what's happening next. And that's what promo should be. It should be like, where does this go from here? Great storytelling, in those two things. And, hey, I'm loving it. I'm still confused about some parts of the bloodline. But overall, I mean, we're seeing greatness on the horizon, with these wrestlers. And, I can't wait to WrestleMania. It's going to be an amazing show. I do see Penta being in that main event, or not the main event, but being at WrestleMania. I don't see Braun and Penta not being at a WrestleMania match. If it is, I'm going to be like, man, this should be, because they're going to put on a show, right? They're going to put on, like, especially, but I do feel like that somebody will interfere in that match, and it cost him the belt. That's just my take. But we'll talk about that down the road. We got plenty of time, as the wise man said. We got plenty of time to talk about that.
All right. Before we get out of here, are we doing Old School Friday this Friday?
Yeah, we're going to talk about an upcoming legend. How about that? We'll be talking about upcoming legend, in the form of the total package. I'll go ahead and give you the teaser for it. Lex Luger, a future Hall of Famer, the total package. We'll be talking about him on Old School Friday. Hey, before we move on, I know we hadn't discussed this, but I want to get into some rumors real quick.
Okay.
What do you think? What do you think about that smoke that you saw in the countdown? You think that's Black coming?
Smoke in the count.
Yeah, you didn't see that promo? It was a little segment, and it was like an eerie. Yeah, it was like a 4, and it looked like a smoky 4, and then they counted down. So I'm thinking.
I remember seeing it, but I didn't.
I don't think they had a countdown. Well, I don't think they had a countdown. Let me. I think it was just a number 4. Okay. So, it was dark. It was smoky. That's something that Black is known for. So I think that he's going to be coming, here soon. I think that's the promo. The rumors that we're hearing that he is going to come. Now, I will tell you this. Now, this is rumors, and it's just rumors. But I believe that they tipped their hand last night about who's fixing to join the Judgment Day.
Karrion Kross?
Did you pick? Nope.
Nope.
Nope. What did he say?
Nope.
What did he say?
I didn't hear you. Kind of.
Okay. What they said was on this, was we need some muscle. You remember that? He said we need some muscle, right? Think about who's the muscle. Rusev. And Rusev and Liv already have a bond. They've already been together, back in the day. So I'm telling you, Rusev, I think they tipped their hand, and I think Rusev will join the Judgment Day.
Oh.
That's just my rumor. Just my rumor.
That's your rumor.
Yeah, again, it's all rumors until they become true, right?
Right, that's right.
So that's
just like just like one of my rumors one day about Karrion Kross is going to actually come true. So I was hoping.
The thing about Karrion Kross, though, if you ever notice, every character that he comes in contact with, he always changes the look to whatever they look like. And if you notice, he's got his hair down straight, just like AJ Styles.
Yeah.
He's playing the part, man. He's playing the devil on your shoulders, man. I mean, I'm telling you, Kross is gold right now. I love what they're doing with him, man.
Oh yeah, I just saw you saw him talking to Dom back there, so I was like, maybe that's something, And then Dom comes out there, hey, I think we should get Penta.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's to divide the whole. Again,
yes.
Look at Finn. Finn's not happy right now, especially what happened last night. I'm telling you, Finn's gonna lose it, and in the Judgment Day, it's gonna have to definitely go get. And it could be several guys that they have to go get but when he said they got to go get a muscle, I thought, man, who is available right now as far as the muscle? That would be Rusev, and people wouldn't see him coming back and joining a faction just like that. But I think that would be good, especially if he does the Redeemer like he did at AEW. If he comes back as a Redeemer, that kind of role, oh yeah, he's in the Judgment there, bro.
I'd like to see it. All right, any more rumors?
That's it. That's all we got.
All right. All right. Well, we had a good show today, I thought. So,
yeah,
check us out next time. Go ahead.
I was saying, fantastic show.
Yep. Fantastic. Check us out next week. Check out Old School Friday. It's about the total package. I might watch it 5 times because Lex was one of my favorites growing up. So, see y'all next time. Pile Driver Wrestling, we're out.